Hello and welcome back everybody to episode 108 of the ESO Top 5 Battles. If you have your own clips that you want to send in for the top 5, you can send those to kristofereso@hotmail.com. And starting off today, we have got Himiga back on his Stamina Nightblade, and he's playing inside an enemy keep here. There's actually a build video that Himiga put together, so if you guys want to check out his build, you can find a link to it down in the description below. Now let's get right into this fight. As you guys can see, there are a ton of blue in this keep. Himiga just doing his thing as a Nightblade, trying to lure them into different spots. There you see he put the shade up top, and then as soon as a couple players jump down, he shades back up to the top of the keep here, and that's just going to help him split the opponents up and give him an opportunity to get a nice burst into somebody. All the players kind of converging on him there. Again, Himiga just shading back to safety and right away setting down that shade. An excellent piece of terrain there to have the shade because you have so many options where you want to go. Here, a lot of enemy players jumping on top of him. Himiga takes huge damage and he throws down the AoE stealth detect, I think for the major protection and just to stop the Nightblades from catching him by surprise. Shading back to safety again to the top here, and he manages to catch one player off on his own. Excellent positioning, excellent movement, and he's able to pick up that kill. And again, he throws down that stealth detect. I love it. He actually stuns the Nightblade as he pops him out of stealth there. That guy completely bails on the attack, and a beautiful poke at the end with the poison injection. He finishes that guy off, setting down a fresh shade here, and now he's got two players on top of him. This guy's in his Destro ultimate. Himiga actually just sitting inside of it. I think he wanted to try to go for that combo, but he opted not to, and he quickly stealths up, hits the guy with his ultimate, and then follows it with the Merciless Resolve. Not only does he kill that guy, but it heals him right back up to full health. And then he gets a huge burst in the other player there, the enemy Templar, unable to escape, and Himiga brings him down, and then right away jumping on top of the player that was rezzing the one he killed there. He finishes off the player that had just been rezzed, and Himiga is right on this guy's tail, catching him with that stun into the light attack, surprise attack, and he goes down. Now, Himiga is just going to do a little bit of a reset. He killed a bunch of blue here, and he's going to be attracting more attention to this location. There you see right away a lot of players jumping on top of him, a lot of players picking up the dead bodies, and Himiga does a great job, again, just using the shade to get back to safety, gets himself in a good position, resets those buffs, a fresh shade goes down, and this poor guy here not paying attention. Not a great place to AFK while there's a Nightblade on the loose. Himiga very quickly taking him down, shading back to safety, resetting, and then he opens on this other player here, hits him with the ultimate, and right away notices that he's pretty bulky. Himiga very quickly shading back to safety, resetting as well, and he goes into stealth as the player charges by him. Unfortunately, he gets popped there. The Templar does get him with the stun. This is going to be tricky for Himiga to be offensive here. There's a lot of players in close proximity, and there's a nice little poison injection into the stealth up. He gets the surprise attack from the front, doesn't get the stun, unfortunately, and Himiga just retreats a little bit, goes into stealth, and I love this. He runs through everybody that was chasing him, and instead goes for a player all the way on the other side there. Very quickly taking him down with the light attack, surprise attacks. Himiga goes for this Nightblade next, pops him out of stealth as the Nightblade stealths up, and Himiga himself unable to get close enough for that combo, but wow, a huge smack from stealth there. The ultimate coming down into the light attack, surprise attack, poke. That guy gets killed very quickly, and Himiga just again goes into a hiding spot, sets the shade down, and then he picks up another kill as he comes out in stealth there. Just such a good use of shade, being very conscientious of where his position is and where the shade is, and he just picks up a kill on this guy here that's chasing the friendly player, and Himiga himself actually eating the stun from the NPC at quite a distance there, but he manages to quickly get a poke in to help the friendly player finish off that blue. And now he's got the negates coming down. A lot of players on the front of the keep. Himiga just goes right into the middle of it. I think that was more to try to coax them out than anything. And then he very quickly shades out to safety. And there's that pause. You know he just hit that clip button. And Himiga just trying to find a good target here. He pokes the NPC. Doesn't want to commit to that, and just like that, the blue players converge on him. It looks like the friendly player's still alive, but there's a lot of blue chasing them around here. Himiga caught without the shade. He's forced to go for the precognition to save himself there. He manages to teleport back to safety. A little bit of a delay on the animation, but he's all right. and then he very quickly goes right up to the top, and he puts that shade down right away. Dangerous situation to get caught there, but he did have this save, and there's a beautiful stun as the Nightblade opens on him there, and he just catches him with the counter, and then another poke from behind. He ends up going down, and it looks like the friendly player at the top of this staircase just doing a great job being bulky, trying to hold that ground, and Himiga's putting big burst into these guys one at a time. Huge burst on the enemy Templar there, and Himiga manages to, or the friendly player actually getting the finishing blow there, and Himiga is just very aggressive. They're focusing a lot on that other player, and there's a nice stun again. Hits him with the light attack, surprise attack, he goes down, and so many blue players converging on this spot. The Necromancer there, unfortunately getting piled down, but he's quick, he's got the healing, he's going to be able to make it. There you see Himiga right away setting the shade down at the top, and he's going to bait them into jumping. Only 2 players jump down, so he opts to stay at the bottom. Beautiful combo on that first player, finishing him down, and then there is the surprise attack, the ultimate from stealth into the surprise attack. Now that player unfortunately got some healing because more blue players start jumping off the edge here. Himiga just resets his shade. I think he tried to go for it there, but it was just at the end of the duration. And that was clean. The Merciless resolve into the light attack, surprise attack. That player goes down so quickly. And then Himiga just doing a great job sidestepping the Dawnbreaker from the other player, hits him from behind with the stun, and then very quickly bringing him down as well. The enemy Templar here trying to heal. Himiga gets that stun. There's the light attack, surprise attack. He goes down as well. He dumps the ultimate on the Sork, gets the stun with surprise attack. Unfortunately, Himiga is taking a lot of pressure from some players on the front of the keep there, so he's forced to retreat, but he does reset the shade, which is a huge deal if he gets caught in a bad spot. And there you see, he's taking a lot of pressure, just shading a little bit of distance, but everything counts, I think, especially if he's got a player on his tail like that. And he catches this guy on low hit points, very quickly putting the damage in. A nice off-balance stun to finish him. Beautiful fight. And now moving on to the next clip, we have got Hoarcrux, and he is playing that oh so powerful Oaken Soul Dragon Knight using corrosive armor, and just look at the damage he's putting out here. Huge explosions from Occult Overload as well, and Hoarcrux is just picking the next target that's hit points are low, and you just see each explosion is opening up another target for him to put the final touch in. And he's just staying in the corrosive armor this whole time. He's got so much alt gen from getting so many kills, and he's almost got the next one ready. These other players trying to be aggressive on top of him, but there is the third corrosive armor, and Hoarcrux is down to the last opponent. Look at that 10k no crit on the whip. Oh my god. And if you guys want to check out the build that Hoarcrux is using, there's a link down below for you guys. Now, moving on to the next fight, we have got Zavadic's Absorbed ESO, and he is playing an Oaken Soul Bow Sorcerer. Now, this build has some crazy damage. You can see Zavadic's outside of Sejanus here, and he's just very quickly picking off a couple red targets, heads to the inside here and starts feeding this guy the overload light attacks into the crystal weapon. Lots of damage going into him. The enemy player going into his heals. Zavadic's unable to get the kill. He does streak through him, but a lot of healing power on that DK, and again, he hits him so hard. The DK, very low health there, and look at that. That guy's attempting the res really fast, putting 25k plus damage into him, and he just gets nuked. The enemy werewolf running through here. Zavadic's clips him with that overload light attack. He takes a ton of damage as well. And now he starts feeding him that light attack into the crystal weapon at a distance. And the enemy werewolf gets to safety. And now the keep has actually flipped. So these red are going to be able to respawn at Sejanus, and Zavadic's knows that, so he's not going to run back inside. He's just being patient. This guy attempting the res. Zavadic's tries to hit him with that stun, but it looks like he had CC immunity as he went for that, so he wasn't able to get it, and almost body blocked by all the NPCs there. Very nice to be on a sorcerer that has that streak. Zavadic's very quickly just breaking a bit of distance, healing himself up, and he peels away, keeping within the range distance of these guys, but just out of reach of gap closers. And he puts two very fast, powerful bursts with the overload light attack into the crystal weapon. Both players going down. This guy just got res. Zavadic's killing him outright, right off the res. And it looks like a friendly player has showed up as well. But we're going to see more red coming out of this keep as they respawn. Zavadic's goes for a nice streak through the group there. Just a little bit of a reposition, I think. and then he resets the crystal weapon, just goes for those light attack crystal weapon. So much damage into this guy, and he just able to survive, goes inside the keep. Zavotix gets behind the side of the tower here, and then he ends up healing up, seeing a lot of red players coming out. This is where Zavotix is going to play Stam Sork to its greatest strength, and that is managing the distance and the speed that it has. Here you see the first player that overextends, Zavotix punishes right away with a huge combo. Lots of damage in the next two players that come. There's a great connection on the overload light attack at the end. Another one going down, and you can see in the distance the red already starting to res their dead, and Zavotix being forced slowly away from this position. But this is good for him because what he can do is use his speed on the Sork to split these guys up, and they're not all going to stay together as they charge out. And here you see Zavotix trying to put a bit of damage into the one in front there. Seeing the group still kind of balled up, he breaks a little bit more distance. And there we go. The enemy Nightblade coming out by himself. Zavotix catches him with a nasty streak stun there. The light attack to finish him off into the crystal weapon. And the rest of the red jump on top of him. Zavotix, again, just being patient, using that distance. Here he decides to actually go through the group, and he manages to get the interrupt on that guy, but it's just a moment too late. The stun did go off, and either way, Zavotix is not going to try to keep that body down. He's still just using that mobility on the Sork, and he's going to split these guys up and just pick them off one at a time until he gets the desired combo that he wants here. Here you could see the red get a little distracted by something on the side, a couple of them running off. Zavotix just picking off the guys in the front line here. Huge damage into them one at a time. Another red player going down, and Zavotix just using the terrain there to LOS a little bit. And you can see these red, they really respect his damage. They're very shy to engage. And here we go, Zavotix is now in behind the group. It looks like they're fighting something up at the top there too, so this is his chance to put big burst into these guys, just putting a lot of damage into this target here. Unfortunately, he keeps getting the attack to hit the other player that was running by there. This enemy player throwing down a lot of heals as well, and there's Zavotix hits him with the last attack into the gap close to finish him off. It looks like this friendly player here was a Nightblade, and he got a successful bomb off on a few players. Zavotix helps him finish off the last couple there. Great movement and positioning in that fight. Now, moving on to the next fight, we have got Ipse Hitick. Now, I hope I say that right. Ipse Hitick is playing a Magicka Warden inside Imperial City, and I actually cut a little bit forward in this fight because Ipse Hitick got jumped by a bunch of blues and then finds himself in a very dangerous situation in this cubbyhole, manages to heal himself up and slowly get the resources back with that Resto Heavy attack, just like you see there. And after all that tanking, Ipse Hitick decides, all right, now's my chance to attack. He sees this player off to the side, sleeping, hits him with a nasty Dawnbreaker. The Deep Fissure comes down, and there's the Force Pulse to finish him off right away, picking up a snappy kill on that guy. Seeing this guy attempt the res, he runs out, bashes him, and the blue players put in a lot of pressure, but Ipse Hitick doing such a good job. He's got the pulsing AoE that's going to stun everybody, and he's throwing down the Fire Staff stun as often as possible. This is going to help alleviate a lot of the pressure on him here, but the enemy player's still putting quite a bit of damage in. Looks like a Nightblade from Stealth on the side there as well. Ipse Hitick taking a lot of pressure and gets back behind the boxes, using it really to LOS all of those ranged attacks. I think he didn't mean to fall down to the bottom there. He ends up falling through that little hole. Fortunately, though, he manages to come around the top here and gets a good bit of damage into the back of the group, but then right away just retreats back to his spot here, healing up a little bit. The enemy players don't want to sit in that cubby hole. It makes them very vulnerable to his AoE, and it looks like after being tired of trying to kill him, they decide they want to go somewhere else. Ipse Hitick says no, charges out with the Northern Storm. Huge damage into the first player. He goes down. The second player is caught in the storm, going down to the Deep Fissure, the Force Pulse as well, and Ipse Hitick charges back into the main room and very quickly getting the interrupt on that res with the Fire Staff. And then he just keeps the pressure on these guys. Nice combo there with the Fire Staff knockback into the Deep Fissure. Seeing this guy attempt the res, Ipse Hitick goes for the punish with the Dawnbreaker. Unfortunately, no Deep Fissure in that combo, so he's unable to stick it out and taking a lot of damage again from all the players here. hiding in this corner behind the boxes, just LOSing it, getting that resource back with his resto heavy attacks. And he manages to put really good damage into that first blue player, finishing him off with the knockback from the Fire Staff into the Deep Fissure. And Ipse Hitick just tanking the boxes still. He's got the Dawnbreaker ready. Down it goes. The Deep Fissure goes as well. Almost picking up another kill on these guys, but putting a lot of AoE pressure into them, buying him the time he needs to heal up, reset those buffs. And unfortunately, as he comes back out to the outside here, the blue players were able to get that res. Ipse Hitick goes back behind the boxes, resets the buffs real quickly. I love how he uses this little spot. It's such a frustrating place to fight a Magicka Warden. And there he pops out again. Huge damage on that enemy Templar. The enemy Templar responds right away with the healing ultimate. Ipse Hitick goes back to the boxes and gets that resto heavy off, resets. And there's the Dawnbreaker, the Deep Fissure, going for the Force Pulse as well. That player ends up blowing up to the damage, and Ipse Hitick again just going for a bit of a kite, resetting those heals, and he heads back out to prevent this Nightblade from attempting that res, and he ends up stealthing to try to run away. This enemy player caught out of stealth there. Ipse Hitick very quickly hitting him with a combo, finishing him off, and then gets the bash on this enemy Nightblade, and Ipse Hitick just keeping the pressure on this guy. But he is very slippery. He's doing a good job kiting around, throwing down that shade. And here you see Ipse Hitick does land that stun. The Deep Fissure's coming. He unfortunately doesn't land the Deep Fissure. The enemy Nightblade again kiting away, very close to dying there. And that's where the clip ends. I'm assuming that guy did manage to escape. And finally, for our last fight today, we have got Akinos. He is playing a melee Magicka Sorcerer. This is an incredibly cool build. I have honestly never seen someone play Sorc like this before, so big up to Akinos for this playstyle. Be sure to check out this man's channel if you want to see some more really cool melee Magicka builds, especially. He does a lot of this kind of style. Now, in this fight here, he's hanging out in the Imperial City. There is a lot of red players coming out of the spawn here. I love this gank. The minefield on the ground. He comes from stealth with the Dawnbreaker and then hits him with the execute to finish. That player going down right away, and Akinos just resets that minefield, and he catches so many players with it. Goes for the streak through to just lay out that big AoE stun. He throws down a fresh minefield, and these guys are just exploding, walking through this minefield. Akinos just kiting to the outside here. Really good use of that corner to just line of sight as he resets the buffs, and then throws down a fresh minefield right in the middle of the doorway. And he's using these mines like a spammable. This is a very expensive move, but he just keeps throwing it on the ground. And the amount of AoE pressure and control that it's doing, I mean, I've never seen mines just so powerful. Akinos doing a great job, again, just retreating, sets the minefield at his feet, forcing these guys to walk through it and take that damage. And he goes for a streak back through the group, again, minefield right at the doorway. And these guys end up walking through it. More AoE damage going down. He throws down a fresh minefield streak into another minefield. I mean, this is the most expensive skill that Sorcerer has, and he is just throwing it down like crazy, but he's getting excellent usage out of it. These enemy players are having a real tough time piling on him, and when they finally do, Akinos goes into the Vampire Ultimate. Another minefield on the ground. He does a couple streaks coming back towards the minefield here, hits this guy with the execute to finish him, and then tries to finish off this next player there. There's the dizzy swing connecting, and Akinos just keeping up the pressure while he's in his Vampire ult. It ends up ending there, and these players are all very low on health. This guy desperately trying to get the res. There's that dizzy swing into the execute. Beautiful stuff, and then he streaks through, hits that last player with the execute, and now there's one red player left. This guy just holds still. He's given up. Never mind, there's two red players left. This guy here, yeah, I think these guys, they just don't know what to do. I wouldn't know what to do either. What an incredible build. And finally, for the bonus clip today, everybody, we have got Sir Snowman showing us those big fat Emperor Necromancer bombs. I hope that you guys enjoy this last little bit as we say goodbye. Again, if you have some clips that you want to send in for the top 5, you can send those to kristofereso@hotmail.com. And I feature builds on the channel, so if you have a build you want to share, feel free to send that my way as well. If you want to catch me live, you can find my Twitch down below, and of course, you can give me a follow on Twitter if you guys want to keep up to date with me. And check out my website, kristofereso.com. It's got written guides to all my builds, written guides to all the featured builds, and there's a link to it down below for you guys. This show is sponsored by What the Fast. It's a VPN for gamers that can give you better ping to your favorite games, especially if you have some poor ping to start. And it's free to try for the first month. There's a link down below for you guys. And of course, a massive thank you to all of my patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do it. And of course, thank you to everybody just for tuning in and watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed. I hope you guys are looking forward to some more top 5. A little bit of an embarrassing story. I was wondering why no one was sending me any top 5 submissions for 2 weeks or so. Turns out I was logged out of my email on my phone, and yeah, my bad. So you guys look forward to a lot of top 5 episodes coming in the very near future. And as always, have a great night, everybody, and I'll see you next time.